All right. Welcome to another episode of Business Success Interviews. Today we are joined by Joyce Barbatti of TJ's Christian Bookstores. Joyce, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Heather.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your bookstore.
Well, TJ's bookstore, Christian Bookstore, is located in Cedar Falls. It's kind of confusing because it's on Waterloo Road in Cedar Falls, but we have been here since July of 2019. So we're coming up this year on our third anniversary. It's gone so fast. It's been amazing. We offer Christian books, Bible studies, Bibles, Bible covers, but we also have a full line of greeting cards and great gifts for baptisms, weddings, special occasions, anything like that also.
Awesome. And so I'll just say, I've been in the store. It's always, there's so much to see. Make sure that you leave yourself some time besides the friendly team to talk to. There's a lot to look at and take in. And there's just such an incredible selection of items in the store. So you've been open for a couple of years, and you opened about 6-8 months prior to the pandemic hitting.
Yes.
So you've weathered quite a storm. Tell us how the last year has been for you.
Well, it's interesting because yes, we opened in 2019 in July. So that was only a half year. And then in 2020, the pandemic hit and we were closed for 7 weeks, which in most businesses is not a real big deal, except it was over Easter and confirmations and first communions and all of that kind of thing for us, which would have been a really big, selling season for us. So I said this last year, 2021, was actually our first full year being open. And we just had a great year. I think people are really finding out where we are and that we're here. And being open the full year was wonderful. Easter was great last year, and November and December, Christmas this year was just wonderful. So we really had a great year this last year.
That is awesome. Mm-hmm. So tell us who's your ideal customer? Who should be stopping into your store?
So we have a couple of different market niches. Obviously churches. We do a lot of business with churches with candles. The pandemic has really helped us boost our fellowship cups, which are self-contained cups for communion. So they've got the wafer and the wine or the juice already pre-packaged together, so nobody has to touch it. In fact, they were really hard to get in sometimes last year, like everything else is going crazy. But then it's also just individuals who maybe have known the Lord and been on a faith journey for a long time, or it's new people that are just exploring what is it about this God thing that I need to know, and maybe I'm not so sure about it. Or a lot of family members that will come in and say, I've got a child that is kind of not really a believer, and do you have anything that I can recommend for that person to just kind of bring them along easily? I mean, we try not to do the whole hit you over the head with a Bible thing, but we are here to help anybody. We always in our ads say, wherever you are in your faith journey, we've got something here to help you along. And so that's really who our target markets are.
That is awesome. So what do you think, besides being open 7 extra weeks and then half a year more, what do you think was the biggest thing that you did that made a significant difference in your business last year?
Well, I think, like I said, the one thing is people are getting to know where we are. I'm still always amazed that people will come in and say, gosh, we didn't know we had a Christian bookstore here in town anymore. So it's always that, how do you reach those people that you don't know where you are? I really tried to be a little more targeted in my advertising dollars. We do a ton of Facebook and social media. And I did hire a person in May who used to be a director of communications. So she's come on board and she's done a wonderful job for us, really being consistent and just getting information out there on a more regular basis. And then there's a couple of new advertising opportunities that we had this year. The new neighborhood magazines had done a feature on us in December of we were the business of the month. And I was actually working in the store on Saturday and had 4 or 5 people come in and say, gosh, we saw that article. So I think that's something, that I'm going to even be more intentional about this coming year is return on my investment and who really is the market that I need to be reaching and how to do that.
I love that. Marketing should be an investment, not an expense. And
Mhm.
so knowing what you're getting and making sure that you are getting a return on that investment is really powerful. So you mentioned Facebook and the neighborhood magazines. What other types of marketing have you used successfully to promote your business?
We do some marketing in local, the Catholic bulletins that the churches give out. They've gotten kind of a mixed return on them. I do a lot of advertising on the Koloff radio stations here in town, which some people think is kind of weird because they are not Christian radio stations. But I think, that market already usually knows that we're here. So it's the secular radio stations that I've been doing a lot of marketing on, and Vicki St. James and Jim Koloff are and their whole team over there are awesome to work with. And they help me do it because I go in and I actually tape the spots myself. So I can't tell you the number of times I drive through the bank or I run into somebody in the community say, "Oh, I heard your voice on the radio the other day." So I think that helps make it a little more effective too, is that personalization of they hear me, and that's been really successful for us.
Absolutely. And one of the great benefits about that particular radio station is it is a local radio station. So I find them to be super in tune with what's going on in our community, very in touch with business owners, and super easy to work with. You're right. They are a great team over there. So a lot of different marketing avenues. So not necessarily a one size fits all for your marketing needs. So when you think back to opening your business and then navigating over the last couple of years, what's one thing that you've learned that you wish you would have known when you first started?
Oh, Heather, there's so much I didn't know when I first started. Yeah, probably my biggest challenge, and I still am learning in this area, is inventory management. You and I have talked before. I had no retail background coming into this. So just the whole thing of the point of sale system, what it can do for me. We do use a point of sale system that's strictly for Christian retailers. But I'm still working on the inventory mix, perhaps, is what I should say, of how many Bibles should I have? There's so many different versions of Bibles out there. Which ones are the ones that I should be carrying? Should I carry only bestsellers as in terms of fiction books? But we also have a lot of local authors in this area that I want to carry also. So that's probably my biggest challenge and the biggest thing that I've learned a lot about, but still have a long ways to go.
Okay. So what would you tell anybody who is opening up a business in regards to inventory management? Like, what would be your biggest piece of advice?
I would say talk to somebody that's been involved in retail before. Like, you were extremely helpful to me for that.
Oh, thank you.
I had reached out to, there's a Christian retail Facebook group, and I reached out to a couple of people on that. And there's a woman who's been in business for 35 years. She's in Michigan. So we're getting ready to do our inventory this weekend. And I've already reached out to her and said, after this weekend, I want to visit with you about, what kind of a mix should I have? What percentage of my floor space or, display areas should I commit to each one of these things? So if you can find somebody that's already walked the path and pick their brain about the knowledge and wisdom that they have, it's a lot easier to be able to do that rather than make all the mistakes yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always say, fail big, fail fast so that you can grow big and grow fast.
I love that.
Sometimes you can just avoid some of those failures and have some different failures by skipping it all together and talking to somebody who's gone before. Super, super valuable. I love the fact that you're reaching out to other business owners that are in the same industry. It requires an abundance mindset, and it requires a bit of humility sometimes to reach out and say, I don't know. And I think that's something that we all start our businesses with maybe some unrealistic expectations about what we should or shouldn't know. And then we find out how much we don't know. And then we sort of get afraid to ask because we think, oh, I should have known this. I don't know if you fell into that trap, but I see that a lot.
Yes.
See that a lot. So if somebody wants to come shop with you, what are their options? How do they get a hold of you? How do they come visit? What does that look like?
Well, like I mentioned, we're on Facebook, and Laura posts a lot of stuff out on Facebook. Usually there's new things every day, so be sure to like us on Facebook. They can give us a call. Because we have such a small footprint here, we only have about 1,300 square feet, which includes my office and some storage area. So we don't carry everything for everybody, but we are always more than willing to do special orders. And now that Christmas is past, and hopefully this whole chain of, delivery kind of stuff gets figured out here soon, but we are pretty quick turnaround times of being able to get special orders in. We do have a website that is kind of in process. We just switched over to a new website in December. Horrible timing for retailers, but we're working on it. So you can go to shoptjschristianbookstore.com, and it will show you what we have in stock. And again, if it's not in stock and you want us to look up a certain gift or a certain Bible or a certain book, we are more than willing to do that also.
Awesome. And what's the address of your physical location?
We're at 1806 Waterloo Road in Cedar Falls. If anybody knows where the new ice cream shop, Scoopskis, is, that's a great landmark for us because everybody was trying that out last year. We're in that same parking lot area. It's in the little strip mall right there by Scoopskis.
Okay, perfect. And then what are the hours that you're generally open?
We are open Tuesdays through Fridays, 10 to 5, and then Saturdays, 10 to 3. The store is closed on Sundays and Mondays.
Perfect. So lots of options, and we'll make sure that we post that down in the comments below so that if you want to reach out to Joyce and her team to shop at TJ's Christian Bookstore, you can certainly find them. So lastly, anything else that we should know or that you want to share out about TJ's Christian Bookstore?
Just that we love being a part of this community. We love our customers. They are just the neatest thing about the store, I think, that I have found is the stories that come in from our customers. We have a prayer and praise board where people can come in and post prayers, requests, or praises. And it's just such a privilege and an honor to be able to be a part of people's lives, whether that's good things happening or, tough things happening. There's been a lot of people that have come in that either have lost loved ones or that are going through really some tough times. And we're here to listen. We're here if you want us to pray with you, we will do that. All of the prayer requests get prayed over every morning, and then they get sent out to a good friend of mine who has a prayer team. So it's just that personal, interaction with people in their lives that we really treasure that.
Awesome. Awesome. Love that. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I encourage everybody watching this to take a minute and stop by, reach out to Joyce and her team, visit TJ's Christian Bookstore in Cedar Falls. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom.